Welcome everyone to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So the first half is Vinyasa Flow and the second half is Yin and Restorative. So you want to have quite a few props, especially for the second part, such as 2 blocks, a pillow, a strap, a blanket, and anything else that you might want to have just to have around in case. Here are a couple of quotes. This one is by Black Elk, Native American holy man of the Oglala Lakota people. And he said, the first peace, which is the most important, is that which comes within the souls of people when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers. And when they realize at the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and that its center is really everywhere. It is within each of us. And Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the classic book summarizing Toltec indigenous wisdom, the book is called The Four Agreements, and I shared that last Wednesday. True freedom has to do with the human spirit. It is the freedom to be who we really are. And he goes into the book about belief systems and playing the victim narrative in our heads or the judgment mind that brings us into a state of imprisonment within our own minds. And so breaking out of that imprisonment first requires self-awareness, which we practice much of in physical yoga and in meditation. So we're going to dive deeper into those practices and continue our mantra meditation that we started this week of Om Asatoma, which is an evoking of the inner divine that Black Elk was mentioning pervades all of us, that which we bow to when we greet each other, namaste, which in short means the divine in me honors the divine in you. And when we can remember that that is our true nature, our true essence, then how much power and freedom and inherent peace we can live in. So let's begin the physical practice, preparing our bodies to sit for a guided 10-minute meditation after. As you're sitting now, be still and become more aware of what you're experiencing in your body. You might close your eyes and start to scan in your mind's eye each part of your body, noticing whatever sensations are happening. Tuning into your physical state. Bring your attention as well to how your body is naturally breathing. Sensing qualities like its pace, its depth, anything you can feel about it. And thereby tuning into your energetic state. Then bring your awareness to your mind and observe its activity right now. Is it feeling busy or calm, scattered or focused, somewhere in between? Remembering there's no need to judge what you observe as good or bad. That's irrelevant. And in what your mind is attending to, the content of your thoughts, observe how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. So now acknowledging what's on your plate today as you begin your yoga practice. Let's prepare to set our intentions by offering gratitude. What is one thing you can appreciate right now? So from a place connected to our power, our own sense of abundance, begin to clarify one thing you want to focus on in today's practice and after to continue cultivating in your experience. Whether it's a quality you want to practice embodying or something more specific in a particular area in your life in which you're strengthening or creating a shift. Now, having set your intention for this practice, bring in the practice of non-attachment, or parigraha, which is in the first limb of yoga, a way to offer up our efforts so that we don't confine ourselves to exactly what that's supposed to look like. We open up to all possibilities of how your intention will manifest. So choose somebody that you care about, a community or a cause, to maybe dedicate today's practice to. And a way of creating resonance as we share yoga as a community, and to send the vibrations of our intentions out and let it resonate within us, is by chanting. So I invite you to chant with me 3 ohms. Exhale any stagnant air, and inhale to prepare. Now, slowing your breath down, let's begin to regulate our energies into a state of balance by practicing Ujjayi pranayama. Closing your lips, softly narrow the back of your throat, and invite a soft whispering sound as you breathe just through the nose, sustaining the breath evenly in and out. So practicing victorious breath, Ujjayi pranayama. Let's make our way into downward facing dog. So take a moment as you arrive in downward facing dog to feel the placement of your hands. See that they're shoulders distance apart, your fingers are spread flat, and your index fingers are either pointing straight ahead or slightly turned out. And you might want to move around a little bit, like pedaling your feet in place to help warm up the backs of your legs. You might shake and nod your head a few times to help relax your neck and stretch the mouth, relax the jaw. And take a look at your feet and see that they are hips distance apart and they're parallel to each other. Bend your knees a lot and lift your hips as high as you can, pressing your sitting bones towards the back wall as you press your hands down, as if you're trying to press the mat away from your feet and into the earth. Keep your hips that high and begin to firm the very front tops of your thigh bones further back as you sink your heels downward. They might not touch the floor, you might keep your knees bent. More important, to create the feeling of a flat back and have a lot of space in your neck and across your shoulders. Now tune into about 3 more breaths here, and let's rotate your triceps, your outer upper arms towards the ground, spreading the shoulder blades apart to create stability in the shoulders as you relax the back of your neck. Keep your 2 hips leveled in height. So lifting from the inseam of the leg, inhale, raise your right leg behind you, flexing the foot. Equally press through both hands, and as you exhale, keep your shoulders balanced and cross your right knee to touch your left outer upper arm, twisting across your waistline in plank pose, stacking the shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, straighten the right leg back to 3-legged dog. And exhale, step the foot down to regular downward facing. Deep breath in, long breath out. So focusing our spinal twists at your waistline. Inhale, raise the left leg, squaring your hips to evenly face the ground. Exhale, twist at your waist, keep your shoulders balanced, and cross the left knee to touch your right tricep in plank. Inhale, raise the left leg back. Exhale, step it down. Walking forward to the top of your mat, let's meet in a standing forward fold with hands clasped behind your lower back.
And you might hold a strap between your hands if that gives you more range of motion to lift the hands further away from your lower back, because you want to feel an opening in the front of your shoulders. Maybe shake the head a little more. Notice if it's appropriate to bend the knees more so that you can really decompress your spine. A few more breaths here. As you are dropping your head, lift the shoulders away from it. Encourage more space in your neck as you tilt your weight forward. Let the arms go. Plant your fingertips either on blocks in front of your feet, your shins, or the ground. And as you engage your abdomen, inhale, stretch your spine forward parallel to the floor in half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, bow from your hips again in Uttanasana, dropping your head. From down to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand, beginning our sun salutations. Find a back bend here by coiling your chest up. Then exhale, join your palms in front of your sternum in mountain pose, Padasana. Allow a moment to envision or to feel your intention for your practice. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and roll your shoulders behind your ears and down, lifting your chest and your gaze. Exhale, bow from your hips with a long spine, bending the knees if that helps. Place your fingertips outside your feet. Inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge and look up. As you hold your breath, step into plank pose with legs straight or knees on the ground. Exhaling, lower your knees, chest, then chin in a back bend called Ashtangasana. Inhaling, slide all the way to the floor and coil your chest up in Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee and look up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow, Uttanasana. Press down with your feet, inhale, rise, sweeping the arms overhead as you coil your chest up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart center. Try that once more on the second side. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, step the right knee back, Anjaneyasana, gaze up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin, hugging the elbows towards your ribs. Inhale, slide to the ground in Cobra, coiling your chest up. Exhale, lift your hips to Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee, gaze up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Rooting down, inhale, rise, find a back bend at the top. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart. So with your feet hips width apart and parallel to each other, keep your two frontal hip bones evenly facing forward. And inhale, raise your arms overhead. This time, try to keep your spine vertical. Plug the shoulders down. Now at your waistline, exhale, begin to turn your rib cage to the right and open your arms wide apart like a T. Let's stay here a few breaths. Root down through both of your feet and lift from the base of your spine through each vertebra to your crown. Keep pressing the shoulders down, and as you exhale, as the hips stay still, continue to spin your left ribs towards your right wall and your right ribs towards your back wall. Maybe looking over your right shoulder if it feels okay on your neck. On your next inhale, raise both arms. Maybe the palms touch, keep dropping the shoulders, hug your front ribs in. And as you exhale, at your waistline again, without turning the pelvis, twist to the left and open your arms wide apart. As you inhale, root down to your feet and stand a little taller. Lift the energy up the inseams of your legs, up your spine. And as you exhale, firm your outer hips towards your midline, keeping your pelvis still, and continue to rotate your rib cage like it's a globe spinning on the axis of your spine. Pressing your shoulders down. Feel that your chin is parallel to the ground. Lifting to your crown, last breath. So here is a twist without leverage, really practicing integrity of where we're twisting along the spine. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Let's begin our next Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Press down with your hands. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank pose, and as you exhale, glide forward. Bend the elbows to hug your ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then inhale to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Being still there, count 3 deep breaths. By steadying your eyes on one spot, help to focus your mind. When you hear the end of your third exhalation, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat in a forward fold. There, inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet together so that they touch. Then bend your knees together, sitting into chair pose. We're actually going to open the hips and play with balance here. So join your hands together at your heart. Rotate your right thigh externally at the hip, which means turn it out. And as you flex your right foot, cross your right ankle on your left thigh like a figure 4. Splaying the right thigh open, draw your hips back and maybe sink them lower as you engage your abdomen. Try to stack your left knee right on top of your left heel rather than hovering it in front of the heel. You might raise your arms overhead, check in with your breathing. You might place your hands on a piece of furniture, walking the hands lower, maybe onto blocks if your hip is feeling open for that. Or place your hands on the floor. We've got about 3 more breaths. Keep lifting your navel towards your spine and heart. Drawing your hips further back and down. Join your hands at your heart, press through your standing foot. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, step the right foot to touch the left. Mountain pose. Let's take it to the other side. Bend your knees together. Inhale, sit low in Utkatasana, chair pose. Rotate your left leg externally at the hip, and as you flex the foot, cross the ankle on top of your right thigh. Use that point of contact to rotate the left thigh externally further while you're drawing your hips further back and down. Maybe join the hands together at your heart. Long, even breaths. Maybe walk your hands down a wall or a piece of furniture you might have in front of you, or maybe place your hands on blocks or the floor. Stack your right knee above your right heel rather than having the knee in front of the heel. About 3 more deep breaths. Since our vinyasa flow part, our active yang portion of this practice today is shorter than usual. You'll want to make sure we get a well-rounded practice, though we're focusing on twists. Here are our hip openers. Press down to your standing foot, join your hands at your heart, take a deep breath in as you rise up. Exhale as you step the left foot down. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Find a gentle back bend. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Let's take a sun salutation here, or vinyasa. Walk to plank or lightly float to Chaturanga and continue into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Let's meet in Downward Facing Dog. Now as you keep your hips balanced in height, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Exhaling, cross the knee to touch your left tricep again for fallen triangle. Straighten your right leg towards your left wall and lean the outer edge of your flexed right foot on the floor. Spin your left heel to the ground and stack your right shoulder above your right wrist. Press the ground away with your right hand and left foot and raise your left arm to the sky. As we stay a few breaths, use every part of your body that's touching the ground to root down in order to rise, lifting the right hip. You might raise the left arm overhead, more of a side stretch. You might hover the right foot off the floor if you're seeking more rigor. Last couple of breaths in fallen triangle. Keep gliding your shoulder blades down your back ribs to stabilize your shoulders. Lower your left hand, inhale to three-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb into a high lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent pose. Now making sure your feet are hips width apart, your two frontal hip bones are evenly facing forward. Use your right hand to cup the top of your right thigh and keep your right leg solidly still as you breathe in to stretch your spine forward. Trace the midline of the mat. Then at your waistline, not at the pelvis, exhale, twist to the right. Choose to either lower your left hand on the inside of your front leg, directly under your shoulder, on a block or the floor, and raise the right arm. Or hook the left elbow outside of your right thigh and either join your hands in prayer, little by little, bringing the sternum to meet your thumbs, or open the arms apart, or bind with or without a strap, where you wrap the left forearm under your right thigh, wrap the right arm behind you, and the hands might meet to clasp. Whatever variation of the twist, commit to your breath. As you breathe in, press back through your inner left heel and lengthen your spine forward. As you breathe out, hug your outer hips still and continue to spin your right ribs towards the sky, your left ribs towards the right wall. Last couple of breaths. This is a variation of twisting side angle pose, Parita Parshvakonasana. Now take a look at your right foot, breathe in. Exhale your hands to the floor, downward facing dog, optional vinyasa. Downward dog. Listen to a couple of cycles of breath as you slow them down and rebalance them. Bring your why back to the picture, your intention for practicing yoga today. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, cross that knee to tap your right tricep in plank. Let's prepare for fallen triangle. Straighten your left leg towards your right wall, leaning the outer flex foot on the floor as you spin your right heel down. Stack your left shoulder above your left wrist and press the ground away with your left hand, raising your right arm. Use your bottom three limbs to press the floor away as you lift the left hip. You might choose to raise the right arm overhead, more of a lateral extension. You might choose to hover the left foot. Wherever you are, tune in to how you're regulating your mind and your body by regulating your breath. Place the right hand down, inhale the left leg back to three-legged dog. Then exhale, step the left foot beside your left thumb in a high lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent pose. So with your feet hips width apart and parallel to each other, ensure that your frontal hip bones are evenly facing forward. Then use your left hand to cup the top of your left thigh down. As you inhale, lengthen your spine down the midline of your mat. At your waistline, exhale, twist to the left, and try to enter the same variation you did on your first side. Either right hand on a block or the floor inside of the leg, left arm up, or hook the right elbow outside your left thigh, hands in prayer, twisting so the sternum meets the thumbs, or open the arms apart, or bind, placing the right forearm under the left thigh, wrapping the left arm behind you, where the hands meet to clasp, or you hold a strap between them. Then with your inhales, press back to your inner right heel, and lengthen your spine forward. Draw the shoulders down the back. And with your exhales, hug your outer hips towards the midline and continue to spin your rib cage. Let's listen to 3 more breaths here in Parita Parshvakonasana. Inhale, look at your left foot. Optional to take one last vinyasa here. Let's meet in child's pose. Sense the quality of your breathing now. Then walking your hands back towards your outer knees. Inhale, slowly roll your spine upright. Please find your pillow, and we're actually going to move into a restorative twist, continuing with our Twisty practice. So place that pillow to trace the midline of your mat towards the front half of it, like this. Have other pillows, blocks, and blankets within reachable distance, just in case you want to add more to it. Have a seat with your right outer hip flush against the rear edge of that pillow, extending both legs straight towards your left wall. Keep your right leg where it is. Slide your left leg down the midline of your mat towards your rear wall, creating an L shape out of your legs. Then plant your hands to frame the left and right sides of the pillow and turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat, adjusting your pelvis and legs so that you can comfortably do that. You might swivel the right hip slightly towards the back wall. You might bend the knees. Inhale, lift your chest, stretch the front of your torso, relax the shoulders. And then take your time for a few breaths to begin to lower onto the pillow. Now, if you find that the pillow is too far to lower onto, that's where you might add more pillows, get creative with what you have. You could put a block underneath the furthest end of the pillow to create an incline. Put a folded blanket underneath your forehead if you want to rest face down. Make sure that your torso and head are completely supported. You're not holding yourself up with your hands. So use as many props as needed to do that. And we're going to be here for 3 minutes. So make sure that you adjust your body in any way so that you can be still for the next 3 minutes and be present, observing the sensations happening as you tune into your breathing. And we're down to one last minute here. Gently begin to press the ground with your hands and slowly lift your skull, your torso. Leave the props where they are and eventually come to sit upright, facing away from the pillow towards the rear edge of your mat, with both legs extended in front of you in Dandasana, stick pose. Allow a few breaths there to just let your spine unwind from that deep twist on one side. And keep your right leg where it is and slide your left leg to the left side, creating an L shape so that your left outer hip is flush against the back edge of the pillow. Frame the pillow with your hands on the left and right sides of it and turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat. Adjust your pelvis and legs comfortably. Then inhale, lift your chest, stretch the front of your torso. Allow a few breaths to lower your torso on the pillow and adjust the props if you need. This side might need something different. And again, we'll stay for 3 deep breaths. Relax your shoulders. Let your body feel held so that your muscles are not contracting here. You notice your attention wanders away from your body. Come back to your breathing. We have one last minute here. Start to press your hands into the ground. Take your time lifting your body upright to sit.
Standing your legs straight in front of you again in stick pose, Dandasana. Allow a few breaths as you observe your spine unwind from that twist. I invite you now to take a block with you. You may want to have a second block nearby as you come to lie down on your back. Oh, let's take a strap with us as well. So just set it off to the side where you can reach for it as you're lying down. And as you're lying on your back, bend your knees and step your feet onto the floor. Take one of your blocks by the lowest height, slide it across underneath your sacrum, which is the flat part of your lower back. Make sure it feels comfortable. It's not too high up against your lowest back ribs, and it's not too low towards the bottom of your glutes, but it's offering stable support. Let's start with this height of the block, and as we get into the posture of opening up our hip flexors, you might choose to go deeper and add a second block, or to tilt this block to the second level up. So begin by bending your right knee into your chest. Take hold of your right shin, knee, or thigh. And if none of that is reachable, where you can keep the shoulders relaxed on the ground, use your strap and use it as an extension of your arms. You might place it behind the right thigh. So you want to keep the shoulders relaxed on the floor, not adding tension in your neck and shoulders or jaw. Now, as you hug the right thigh inward, begin to slide your left heel on the ground forward to whatever degree you can comfortably straighten your left leg while pressing the instep of your left foot towards your front wall to prevent turning out your left leg. Keep your left kneecap pointing towards the sky. Envision spiraling your inner left thigh slightly towards the ground and your tailbone lengthening down the inseam of your left leg towards your inner left heel. For some, you might feel plenty happening and you don't need to add any more to this posture. For others, if you need to feel more opening in the left hip flexor, you could either tilt the block that's under you to the second level height, or stack two blocks at their lowest height, which offers more support, stability, especially if you have the non-standard size blocks, which are skinnier. Another option, if you're seeking even more depth and your knees feel okay with it, keep your hips squared facing the ceiling, and as you bend the right knee, begin to catch hold of the top of your right foot or the front of the ankle. Lengthen the tailbone forward as you bring the top of that right foot just to the outside of your right hip on the ground. Have your knees no wider apart than hips distance, and keep pressing the instep of your left foot forward. So this is Ardha Virasana, which is half hero's pose variation. If your hands are free, you could use them to stroke from your lower abdomen, down your frontal hip bones, down your quadriceps, the front muscles of your thigh, just encouraging opening in that region, making sure you're not overarching or compressing the lower back. So to avoid that, seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Requires a little bit of upper abdomen engagement. And slightly lift your frontal hip bones towards your lowest front ribs. Let's stay another full minute in this posture. Breathe into where you're feeling it the most.
Vasudeva Enata
Finish one more cycle of breath. Then place your 2 feet flat on the floor with knees bent. Lifting your hips, remove the blocker blocks from beneath you. Lower your pelvis on the ground. Then hug your bent knees into your chest. I know we have a second side, but let's take a moment before we switch. You might opt to hug the knees in, maybe rock side to side, or just be still for 5 breaths. Observe your body speaking through sensations. Prana, life force energy, can get stuck when we're in contraction from being stressed. When stress is triggered in our nervous system, our bodies contract. And over time, that can create a pattern of contraction. So taking the time to observe, to digest that deep opening you just done in the pose, and then set your feet on the ground. Lift your pelvis, start with the lowest height block. Let's begin from the start. Place it underneath, bend the left knee towards your chest, use a strap if needed so your shoulders stay on the ground. Keep your right heel on the floor and slide it forward to whatever degree you can straighten the leg. Spin your inner right thigh towards the floor to keep your right knee pointing towards the ceiling. Notice how this feels, especially in the front of your right hip. It might need something different on this side, depending on your patterns of moving it every day. If you need to go deeper into it, you can tilt the block to the medium height or stack 2 blocks on their lowest height. Really take the time to notice how your body responds to those changes and variations of poses. If you're needing to go further here, then you can start to point the left knee towards the front of your mat, as close as you can towards the right knee. Catch the top of your left foot or the front of the ankle with your left hand, pointing the left toes back. Place the top of the foot on the floor just outside of your left hip. Now, to stabilize and support your lower back, make sure you're not splaying your thighs apart wider than hips distance. Seal the bottom of your front ribs down towards your back body and slightly lift your frontal hip bones upwards towards your bottom front ribs while lengthening your tailbone forward towards your inner right knee. Now let's stay and breathe for another full minute. Finish one more cycle of breath before stepping both feet onto the ground again with both knees bent. and removing any props from underneath your body. With your pelvis on the ground, once again, draw your bent knees into your chest. You might choose to hug and be still or to rock in any direction, massaging your lower back on the floor. Now find your strap, please. And as you bend the right knee into your chest, slide your left leg on the floor, step the ball of your right foot into the strap. Extend your right leg towards the sky and hold the strap in your left hand, preparing for another spinal twist. So sickle your right foot, and this will engage, open up your IT band region at your outer right thigh. So turn the sole of the foot to face the left wall and open your right arm wide on the ground, keeping the shoulder on the floor. Start to cross your right leg over your body to the left, slowly. Breath by breath. Now there's an option to also stretch the left quadricep while you're in the twist by bending your left knee and taking hold of the top of your left foot with your right hand. If that's reachable, you can add that. If it's too cumbersome, leave it alone. If you have the foot, make sure to reground your right shoulder. And in whatever variation of the twist, bring your attention to your right outer hip. As you breathe out, tilt your right outer hip forward towards the front edge of your mat. Stay another 5 deep breaths in this twist. Slowly rolling onto your back, hold the strap with 2 hands on the right foot still. Square your hips towards the ceiling and begin to bend the elbows apart. Bring the right leg towards your chest, keeping your right leg straight to open up into your right hamstring. If there's resistance, you could bend the left knee. Try to keep the right leg straight, not turning out the leg. Couple more breaths here. Step your right foot on the ground, slide it to the floor, and bend your left knee into your chest. Step the ball of your left foot into the strap and hold the strap in your right hand. As you straighten the left leg upright, sickle the foot from the ankle, turn the sole to face the right wall. Slide your left arm out to the left on the ground. Maybe look over that shoulder as you root it down and begin to slowly twist to your right side. Now, if available and you did this on the first side, bring in that quadricep stretch for the right thigh by bending your right knee and catching the top of your right foot with your left hand. Bringing the foot towards your glutes, reground your left shoulder. And in whatever version of the twist, now bring your attention to your left outer hip. As you exhale, tilt your left outer hip towards the front edge of your mat, tractioning your lower spine. Let's stay about 5 more breaths here. This is a supine version of twisting hand to big toe pose, or Supta Parita Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Oof, that's a mouthful. One more deep breath. As you roll onto your back, extend your right leg forward, lift your left leg up, square your hips to evenly face the sky. Hold the strap with 2 hands and pull it towards you, bending the elbows apart. Now again, keep your left leg straight, and if your hamstring is yelling at you, you could bend the right knee as much as you need. One more deep breath. Remove the strap. Draw your bent knees once again into your chest. Maybe you circle the thighs together and apart, or come into happy baby. Take another minute for a cool down movement or posture before we rest in corpse pose. Gather whatever props you might want to support your body with in corpse pose, like lower back support could be a pillow across the backs of your knees, supporting a light bend in your knees as you splay your feet wider apart than your hips, legs extended forward. A grounding support could be a folded blanket or a pillow, so the weight of it rests on top of your pelvis and lower belly. Tuning in support, you could use an eye pillow if you have one, or something to cover your eyes like your strap. So as you're placing your body in a comfortable pose for a few minutes of stillness, invite symmetry along the left and right sides of it. You might roll your shoulders back and turn your palms face up beside you. Then close your eyes and scan your body as though giving permission to each part you focus on to let go of effort. Along with that, let go of regulating your breath. Shavasana. Now let your body rest here in stillness a little longer. While closing your eyes, once again, mentally scan your physical body. Notice how you feel in your body now. Then listen to how it wants to begin moving. Gently begin to wiggle small parts like fingers, toes. Ease into simple stretches, maybe all while keeping your eyes closed, so that you continue to tune inward. Eventually roll over onto your right side and rest your head. Allow a few breaths to naturally pass as you observe your body breathe. Notice if anything feels different for you energetically. When you feel ready, press your hands into the ground and slowly lift your torso. Place your body in a comfortable position to sit in for meditation. You might sit up on a pillow, a block. Place your body in a way that you can feel grounded, which means connected to what you're sitting on in a balanced way, and alert. So your spine is tall, the breath can flow easily, and at ease. Relax your shoulders, your jaw, your face. Then place your hands in any mudra that cultivates the feeling tone of your intention or what you want to feel as you're meditating. A neutral mudra is to stack the palms face up on your lap with your thumb tips touching. A grounding mudra is Gyan mudra, thumb and first fingers touching, palms face down on your lap. And with the same shape in your hands, if you flip the palms up, that's Chin mudra, which invites elevated consciousness and can be energizing. So choose if you'd like to use a mudra, and if it makes sense for you, close your eyes. Otherwise, steady a soft gaze ahead on one spot. So I invite you into the mantra that I introduced earlier this week and many practices ago. And in line with our theme of remembering your inner power and your connection to life force energy that pervades all of us living on this planet, this mantra is about evoking your own sense of truth of who you are. So translated from Sanskrit to English, it means lead me from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. It's a recognition that you are more than a physical being. In fact, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So the words in Sanskrit go like this: Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. So I'm going to chant a short phrase, and I'd like you to echo me after, but I'll sing the echo with you. So let's divide this into parts. Start by inhaling, filling up your belly, filling up your rib cage, and exhaling through the mouth all the way out. Try that once more. So you're using your diaphragm to breathe in fully, and through the mouth, exhale. So I'll start and you repeat phrase by phrase. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. So that's the whole thing. Now let's chant it twice together. Om asatoma sat gamaya. Tamasoma jortir gamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om asatoma sat gamaya. Tamasoma jortir gamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. And it ends with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. And that's a closing. Shanti means peace. So for our meditation practice, I invite you into mantra chanting. Mantra is a tool to steady the mind. 6 rounds of Om Asatoma, and then completing with Om Shanti 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 Om. Then we'll rest in silence after that for the remainder of the 10 minutes. So let's chant together 6 rounds. Inhale deeply. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Tamasoma Jortir Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Rest your awareness in the feeling tone you've cultivated through the mantra. Sensing your natural breathing. Drop into your own sense of inner stillness. If you have the time and space to continue sitting in meditation, I invite you to stay where you are in silence. Otherwise, bring your attention to how you feel mentally and emotionally, observing the effects of your practice. Invite you to bring to heart and mind something you're grateful for now, including yourself and showing up for yourself in this practice today. Then, either out loud or mentally, I invite you to say your intention again for this practice and really feel it into being. Remember to whom or what you chose to dedicate this practice to. Picture them receiving benefit from your efforts. Together, let's close by chanting 3 ohms, that sound of our inner connection, that which Black Elk was talking about in the quote in the beginning. Great spirit, source, prana that flows through all of us. Inhale deeply. Om. 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 Bowing in, acknowledge the light, the divinity within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.